All right, we are live here on the Empty the Bench podcast network. This is NFL Wildcard Weekend, presented by Playback. He's Anthony Balester. I'm Nick Morgasen. Getting together to do some content. I'll explain why a little closer to the end of the video, why we're doing some early video content together, but I'll save that for the end when we get done with the football. We were going to wait till the end of the game, but where are they? They're roughly at the 2-minute warning right now.
Yes, I think the rookie Quinyon Mitchell from the Eagles just got an interception, so it's pretty much over for the Packers.
Unbelievable. Oh, yeah, I just saw it myself, too. Yeah, Packers fell apart, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happened to everyone thought the Packers were going to run away with this game. I didn't see it. Even though Jalen Hurts has been hurt, no one knew if he was going to pass concussion protocol and all that, but you thought he was going to pass protocol, right? I did.
Yeah, I had a gut feeling that the NFL wasn't going to allow him to miss another game. I mean, he already missed a game before, so I think he had enough recovery. He had a full practice, so I had a gut feeling he was going to play.
Yeah, and by the way, since we're live, if anyone has comments, we'll answer them as well. NFL Wildcard Weekend comments. But let's go through some of the games as this game ends, and we'll actually preview Sunday Night Football. Because, in my opinion, that's one of the better games of the weekend, in my opinion.
For sure.
All right, so this one. This one was laughable, but for the wrong reason, in my opinion. Everyone thought the Texans were going to come out flat. Everyone thought C.J. Stroud, including myself, who had him in fantasy all year, kind of screwed me in the end. But they look good offensively.
Yeah, and people like Rex Ryan was saying, "Oh, I guess the Chargers got a bye week." Well, I guess like in Michael Jordan's words, the Texans took that personally, and they came up and they were ready to play. And kudos to them. They had a great game plan. C.J. Stroud, who wasn't great, played good enough. Nico Collins was phenomenal, and man, that Texans defense looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this game in the first quarter, it looked like the Chargers came out and made a statement. They scored a touchdown, or they scored 2 field goals early, and then they're trying to set the tone. The defense is playing well. After the first quarter, it looked like the Chargers offense just fell asleep. So I don't know what to say about the Charger offense. Jim Harbaugh really couldn't get the engines revving and going after quarter one, but I got to give Stroud credit. Collins looked good. Mixon looked good. On the other end, I can't remember the receiver's name, McConkey, who, what do you have, 197 yards? I mean, the kid's a stud.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's just a small little slot receiver. He's not going to be a true number one receiver. I think he proved all those doubters wrong. He's definitely a true number one receiver. He's the future of this franchise at the receiver position. And honestly, he should have had more yards. Justin Herbert missed them early on for another 70-yard touchdown. So McConkey should have had over 200 yards if he had better quarterback play.
And also, I think you were the one that brought it up on Forecast that you said it was more important for Herbert than it was for Stroud. Now, I think you were actually proven right in this scenario because Herbert, after the first quarter, just looked like a shell of himself for the rest of the game. 14 for 32, 242 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. That's not playoff football.
No, and I mean, honestly, I didn't think it was a debate. I mean, C.J. Stroud as a rookie got a playoff win. I mean, Justin Herbert's been in the league for 5 seasons, and he still hasn't got one playoff win. I mean, we got guys like Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence who's got playoff wins in that same time period. So we could give, credit, or we could give, problems to Josh Allen for not giving over a hump, or Lamar Jackson for getting over the hump. But those guys are losing to Pat Mahomes in the second and third round of the playoffs. I mean, Justin Herbert can't get past the wild card. And I know you could blame Jim Harbaugh, but the thing is, Justin Herbert's been the one common denominator. He's had different receivers. He's had different coaches. He's had different players on defense, but he's been the constant denominator that's been on his team. And, obviously they're not going to change direction at quarterback, but at some point or another, he's got to get over the hump.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Harbaugh's going to get crap because obviously, if it's he's the big name coming back, obviously winning in Michigan. He was the big name, hot name. Everyone wanted him as their head coach. It looked like he got a little angry on the sideline towards the end of the game. I don't know if that was losing composure or if that was him trying to get his guys going. But The Texans just looked like they were ready to play. I guess I remember saying to you when you and I were texting, I'm like, oh, I should have bet more on that game, thinking the Chargers were going to win in the first quarter. I'm like, all right, maybe Vegas does know a thing or two that maybe the Texans were going to win.
Yeah, the game was shocking. I mean, I still got to give Jim Harbaugh credit. I mean, we're talking about a team that was a 5-win team just last year, and he got them to 11 wins. He got them to the playoffs. A lot of people, even people that were Jim Harbaugh supporters, thought it was at least going to take to year 2 before he got this team in the playoffs. So he's definitely ahead of schedule, but I'm not sure if they're going to get to a point where if Justin Herbert's going to be the one that's holding him back, because if Jim Harbaugh can't get a playoff win with Justin Herbert, I don't know who can.
And the thing was, speaking of money, which you brought up toward the end of forecast also, we were talking about a few quarterbacks. Herbert's already been paid. That's the scary part. Like, he's been paid. He has not won anything in this scenario when it comes to the playoffs or even a wild card. Now, I don't know if this new format really, it probably does benefit him eventually if he can win one playoff game. But just looking at the rest of the, like, the rushing attack was non-existent for the Chargers either. Like, everyone said, oh, the rushing attack's got to be there. It was not there. And like we said, Lad McConkey was the only guy who seemed to touch the football offensively. Everybody else, like, I'm looking, he had 9 receptions of 197. The next person was Disley at 16 yards. So I got to give Houston defense a lot of credit, considering the injuries between the offense and the defense that they've had all year. I guess the defense was ready to play too.
Yeah, 100%. And this is why a lot of people think Derek Stingley Jr. is in the conversation with guys like Pastor Tan as one of the best cornerbacks in football. I mean, he was completely shutting down whatever receiver he's on. And then those two bookends at the edge rusher position, Will Anderson Jr. and Hunter, I mean, it's hard to block, just one of those guys, let alone having to worry about 2 of them coming at you. So you got to give credit to them. And I know it wasn't pretty, but man, CJ Stroud being in the league 2 years and already getting to the second round of the playoffs both years and already having 2 playoff wins, I mean, that's a tremendous start for him.
Okay, so the Texans absolutely obliterate the Chargers. They move on to play the Chiefs. So that's their consolation prize, which, I don't know, maybe that is a much more fun matchup than we make it out to be, because the Chiefs aren't exactly what they were last year or 2 years ago. So we'll see how that one kind of plays out, but that's going to be a tough one going on the road to Kansas City. Moving on to the Ravens and the Steelers. This was really not a contest. Would you agree?
Yeah, I know it got kind of close in the middle of there, but it felt like the Steelers never had a chance in this game.
And also, I saw them doing a little whoop-de-doo at the quarterback position quite a few times. Not a fan, to be honest. I think you had mentioned that too, right? That they might go to who's the backup quarterback? I'm forgetting his name. Yeah, they were going to go to Fields a few times. I didn't like the play calls that they went to on him a few times, but Russ looked lost out there a little bit, and I think his time could be done in Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's a weird, situation. It's like they always go for, whatever the highest floor, never the highest ceiling. So that's why they're always competitive, but they never get overly too far. They're always going to win 8 to 10 ball games a year. But how often are they going to get past the first round? And that's why they brought in Russell Wilson, because, he's going to keep the ball clean. He's going to get you to the playoffs. But how far are you going to go? And it's another playoff loss for Mike Tomlin, who, yeah, he may not have a losing record in the regular season, but at some point you got to get past the first round. And one thing that was definitely concerning is I know Cam Hayward had a hell of a game, but man, I felt like TJ Watt had a subpar performance. I mean, that was one of the weaker performances I've seen out of TJ Watt, and it seemed like Lamar Jackson was just toying with him at times with his running ability. So I know TJ Watt's 30 years old. He's had a lot of injuries. I'm not sure if he's starting to go on the decline, but that would be a bad recipe for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, if you look at the quarterback numbers without looking at the score, you would have thought Pittsburgh would have won this game the way you're looking at the quarterback numbers. But there's a certain somebody that we need to talk about who's had a resurgence in Baltimore, and that's Derrick Henry. This guy, I mean, this guy's a stud. Like, what did they say? All it takes is a change of scenery sometimes to refine your passion for the game. I could say the same thing for Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs in the game we just finished watching. What do you say about this guy? This guy is literally the king, as his nickname states.
Well, I love Derrick Henry, and I know as a Bills fan, I'd be scared of him now that he's in Baltimore. But I love Alabama, and I've been following Derrick Henry since he's been in high school. And if you've been following him, he's been a beast his entire career. I mean, he's practically the greatest high school football player of all time. He owns all the records. He went to Alabama and won a Heisman, and then pretty much has been the best running back of his generation. I mean, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And a lot of people thought, he was starting to be on the decline. Well, when you go from playing with the Tennessee Titans to the Baltimore Ravens, it's night and day. And I want to say Lamar Jackson had a really good game as well. I mean, he pretty much played flawless as well. He only had a few incompletions. I know he didn't have a lot of passing yards, but he was just super efficient, and he pretty much was what got the game going. I mean, he ran the ball about 4 or 5 straight times in the opening drive, and pretty much it was all Lamar Jackson in the first half, and then Derrick Henry closed out the game in the second half. And I mean, having those two guys on the same offense, I don't know how you stop it.
You really can't. It's like a double running attack when you look at it. Who do you block? If you block Derrick Henry, Lamar's just going to run the ball right up the gut, and that's going to be the end. and if you block Lamar, but that's the weird thing about today's game, where the quarterbacks today compared to like when we were 10 years younger, there was no such thing as like the full running quarterback. That was not a thing. Now you have to be multi-talented to be able to get out of the pocket. Now, not to make fun of Giants fans and some of the Giants fans we have on here that we do on this show, but you can't be Eli Manning anymore in today's league, where the joke I used to make is that he has cement feet. And basically, he wouldn't leave the pocket unless he was completely forced out of the pocket. Then he would find a way out. But now when you look at guys like Lamar and Jaden Daniels, who we're going to see tonight, or Jalen Hurts, who we just saw, they win games sometimes using their feet.
I mean, the quarterback talent in the NFL is better than it's ever been. And I agree with you, Nick. When I was growing up watching football, you had two types of quarterback. Either you were just a run-only quarterback that struggled with accuracy like a Michael Vick, or you were just a straight-up pocket passer like Tom Brady. Well, now you got quarterbacks that are both. And it just makes it fun for the NFL fan to watch these guys. And one thing I think with, Baltimore, obviously we know Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry has played pretty phenomenal all season. But I think what's made this Ravens team so much better now than what it is before is their defense is a lot better. Ever since they moved Kyle Hamilton to play full-time safety, and the way Marlon Humphrey's playing, the rookie Nate Wiggins, Kyle Van Noy at the pass rush, those D tackles, now the way this defense is playing, if this defense is going to continue to play like that along with their offense, I don't know if there's more a complete team right now.
Yeah, and I guess the final thing I'll say is Pittsburgh just shrunk under the pressure. And I don't know what's going on with Najee Harris, but like he is not the same guy. Like he's either lost a step or I guess I could say more the offensive line is really not giving him room to run. Like I said before, look at the difference between Saquon being in New York and Saquon being in Philadelphia. It's a whole different game. It's night and day. Najee Harris just has no room to run. And then just, I don't know. There was really no offensive attack for them. The one thing I will say, did you see the press conference for Pittsburgh after the game? Not was it George Pickens, who basically was a little iffy? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, it was basically along the lines of, did you see improvement from your offense as the season went on? He was like, yeah, I seen improvement. And they said, is that any cause, for, excitement going forward or something like that? And he goes, nah. So, I mean, he says that they showed improvement, but they asked him if that's good going forward, and he goes, nah. So, I know
that sounds like he wants out. Sounds like he wants out. But, I mean, he'd be a big trade asset to somebody for sure. Pittsburgh's got some problems. I don't know how they fix them, in my opinion. And again, I like Mike Tomlin. I've never had an issue with Mike Tomlin, but I think he's got to go. I think they need a new change of scenery. I don't know who you bring in to replace him, but I just think sometimes it's like Belichick when he was with the Patriots. Eventually you need a change of scenery because things just don't work after a while. Now, Gerard Mayo didn't work out, and now they just hired Mike Vrabel, who I like. I wish the Jets would have gone after him, actually. But I think that's a good fit for New England. And we'll talk about that when our shows come back. But I don't know what you do with the Steelers at this point, but they're a disaster. And I think Russell Wilson's going to be out. All right, let's move quickly because the other game's going to start soon. Bills, Broncos. This in the first quarter, I said, oh, wait, the Broncos might make it competitive. Then after the first quarter, the Bills said, all right, we're going to fasten in. We're not going to allow any points, and we're going to make Bo Nix look bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away that bomb to Troy Flanken at the beginning of the game, I mean, the Bills' defense played great. I mean, they were able to shut down the run. I know Bo Nix had a couple good passes to Cortland Sutton here and there, but for the most part, the Bills' defense was able to shut down that offense. And coming into the game, I said the way to beat the Bills, you got to have a good running game. I didn't like the Broncos running back by committee. I know they got 4 decent running backs that they like to rotate and keep fresh, but none of them ever really scared me, and that's why the Buffalo Bills outrushed them by a lot. I also said the key difference in this game would be James Cook and the running ability, and James Cook had a great game. And what about Josh Allen on that 4th and 1 play? I mean, you would think, oh, Josh Allen's going to go up the middle or he's going to run to the side. Nope, he throws off his back foot right to the running back in a perfect pass. And, you know, what more is there to say about Josh Allen? He does it week in and week out. He pretty much had a flawless game, putting the team on his back again. You know, kudos for the Broncos getting into the playoffs, their first year with Bo Nix. You know, this is definitely, you know, a good step in the right direction. I think they'll be better even moving forward when they get some more salary cap relief from the Russell Wilson deal. But, man, the Buffalo Bills look like a juggernaut right now, and I can't wait to see them in the divisional round.
Yeah, and by the way, I will officially say that I'm looking forward to watching Bo Nix next year and see him improve. I think they need to retool that offensive line a little bit to give him a little more time. That was part of the issue in this game because the Bills' defense, when they're full, like Milano's back, that was a big thing. They were pressuring him up the wazoo after the first quarter. He just didn't have – he was throwing off his back foot most of the time. Couldn't get anything on the throws, and that was the end. James Cook looked like a monster out there. Like once he got into the open field, you were not stopping him, and that was a big thing. And by the way, that throw into the end zone by Josh Allen on the back foot on the dive, who was the one that caught that pass again?
It was Ty Johnson, the running back.
That was an insane catch, right?
Yeah, that was the difference in the game was that play.
I mean, the amount of replays they had to do on it, but just to get, get an elbow down, essentially? Because, what is it, one elbow before 2 feet? I mean, like, that was just an incredible catch. I just said, all right, this game's over. Like, they're not coming back and recovering from that. And then, what was it, Curtis Samuel made a big catch. I mean, Josh Allen just looked good. It's bad that they don't, but this is every sport. They don't count the playoffs towards the MVP, but Josh Allen has to do way more than, say, what Lamar does to really get his team going, in my opinion. All right. Now, we'll quickly recap this game, even though we just saw it. Jordan Love looked bad. Awful. I don't really know any other way to put it. Injuries didn't help. I'll let you talk about that because you were really getting into that. So what do you say about Jordan Love first?
Yeah, he definitely didn't look like the Jordan Love we saw in the last playoffs. And, you know, he kind of has been struggling a large part of the season. Obviously, the Packers have been a great team led by Josh Jacobs. But we know Jordan Love had a tendency this year to turn the ball over. You know, we just assumed, just like last year, that when the playoffs came, he would keep the ball clean. Now, we do got to remember he did lose a lot of players in this game. Christian Watson, potentially their most talented receiver, was hurt coming into the game. Romeo Doubs, my prayers go out to him. He took a really bad injury. Looked like he landed on his head pretty hard. He had the guardian cap on, which a lot of people say it adds extra weight to your head. So maybe that's another reason why the concussion was so bad. But I hope he's okay, but he got hurt. Obviously, Jenkins, their guard, got hurt as well. He's one of their best offensive linemen. So Jordan Love really didn't have the protection he needed. Obviously, he was down to his 3rd and 4th wide receiver. And the Eagles defense, man, I know they had a couple injuries as well, but I've been saying it all season. This Eagles defense looks like it's one of the best in the league. And even with Jalen Hurts, who was a little off today, looks like he's not completely 100% coming back from his injury, missing a couple throws. That defense was able to carry the Eagles to victory today.
I mean, yeah, it just looked like the Eagles were more ready offensively. It looked like they were more prepared. Saquon looked great out there again, talking about offensive lines and differences and being able to run through as opposed to getting stuffed at your line of scrimmage every single time. Just looking at the wide receivers, I mean, Devonta Smith had a little bit, Goddard had a little bit. Everyone touched the football, which was good. That's what you need to do in the playoffs. everyone's got to be ready. I mean, just looking at going back to Jordan Love for a second, it looked like his injury was just hindering him, whatever it was. Because what did they say? He lost feeling in his hand partially. Was it the elbow to losing feeling in your hand? I think was the injury. I just don't think the Packers had a prayer of winning this game. I just didn't. And the only way they were winning is if Jalen Hurts was not cleared from concussion protocol. And it still might have been tough for them to win with all the Eagles' offensive weapons. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they probably could have just won this game just straight on defense. With Jordan Love not being 100%, with the injuries that he had around him, I think the Eagles could have won this game with Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee out there because their defense was just that dominant.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it on that front. Who do they move on to play right now? So just look at the rest of the bracket. So the Bills move on to play the Ravens. That's going to be a fantastic game. That's the battle of the two top guys, probably right now for the MVP. And then we got to wait for the other matchup tonight, which we're about to see who plays the Eagles. So actually, let's move on to that quickly. We'll preview Sunday Night Football, Commanders at Bucks. Would you agree that this is probably the best game probably of the day?
Yeah, I said coming into this, the last two games, this one and the one on Monday night's the best two games, and they get to see Jaden Daniels against Baker Mayfield. I can't wait to see how this pulls out, and if Jaden Daniels could go out there as a rookie quarterback and get a road playoff win, I mean, that's just going to add to what already is potentially the greatest rookie season we've ever seen by a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I was a huge, and still am a huge Jaden Daniels fan. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. He's a guy that falls under that run but throw type quarterback where he can escape the pocket. He's one of the best at escaping the pocket when the pocket collapses and can get you that 8 to 10 yards sometimes to get you that first down. Who's their running back again? Because I keep forgetting his name too.
Well, they got Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, he's been a stud. Like he's been an absolute. Like he is going to be a top running back. I feel like in the next couple of years.
Terry McLaurin's been awesome too.
Yeah, he's been good too. Their wide receiving options have been pretty good too. I mean, they have a lot of young pieces to build on. They probably have their quarterback for what, the next 8 to 10 years at least.
Maybe even 15.
So as long as he doesn't get hurt, because eventually he's going to have to adjust and he can't run out of every situation because the older you get, you can't really survive playing that way. And Washington knows that all too well with injury-ridden quarterbacks that run too much. But it's going to be a good game. And I don't know. Did we both have the Commanders winning this game, or who did you have?
I think I was one of the rare people that I think we were kind of split on this one because I picked the Buccaneers to win this. I think it's going to be really tough for a rookie quarterback to go on the road and win. But I think this is going to give us fireworks. I think it's going to be a huge shootout because I don't think the Buccaneers defense is particularly great, and I don't think the Commanders defense is particularly great. So I think Baker Mayfield and Jaden Daniels are just going to go back and forth, and whoever has the ball last will probably win. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers as the home team, but wouldn't be surprised to go either way.
Yeah, I had the Commanders. I just think, but what was it, Johnny, the one who said that has it happened? It's only happened twice that a rookie quarterback has gone on the road and won on the road in their first playoff game. So I don't know if the numbers say it, but you were talking about possibly being a shootout. Right now, I don't know what the spread was when we did it, but right now the current spread is Bucks -3. I don't know if that was the same spread when we did it. But the number is 51.5, over under 51.5. It sounds kind of high a little bit. I don't know if you think
the over.
Oh, you would take the over. So you think this is going to be a offensive shootout?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams in the low 30s.
This is going to be a good one. I hope. And Baker, let's talk about Baker for a second, because Baker has had a resurgence in Tampa. And I don't know, did he just resign? He resigned this past offseason, right?
Yes, he did.
What was it, a 2-year deal, I think?
It was about a 2 or 3 year deal for about $35 million. I mean, they got him at a huge discount. When you got guys like Trevor Lawrence making the 50s, and you got a guy like Baker Mayfield throwing for 41 touchdowns, he's only making 35. I mean, what a huge deal that is.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got incentives because he hit them in the last game, right?
Yeah, so he's going to be making a little bit more than that.
And by the way, congrats to Mike Evans, by the way. That guy is incredible. What is that, 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, I was kind of nervous though when they put him in the fire in that last play because I didn't know what would happen if they were going to hit him or whatever to stop him from getting the incentives. Because you know how teams can be petty; they don't want incentives or records hit against them. But the guy's a Hall of Famer in every way, shape, or form.
100%.
And what is his record? He's only behind what? Jerry Rice. I
He's
think for
now
most
tied with Jerry Rice. So now, if he's to do it next year, he'll have sole possession of that record.
talk about more incentive for next year for sure to hit 1,000 yards. But like I said on Forecast, would I be upset if the Buccaneers won? No. I'd be happy with either of these teams getting a chance to kind of be a dark horse, so to speak. I think the Commanders have a little more of a chance if they make it through, but we'll see what happens. Before we go, though, I just want to mention one more thing because it's in the news, and we're going to talk about this in the show when it comes back. Prayers for the people in California right now with the fires. From what I heard, it's only about 11 or 12% contained right now, the Palisades fires in Los Angeles. Just pray and hope everyone is safe. The game, the Rams, who were they playing?
Vikings.
Rams Vikings got moved from Los Angeles to Arizona. By the way, I praise the Arizona ownership for actually sending the private planes and whatever to get them to Arizona. And if I'm not mistaken, also they repainted and changed everything in Arizona to make it look like the Rams home game. Also, and they set up the whole locker room for all of them. So anyone who says that the NFL owners and whatever they don't like each other and they work together. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be a good one tonight. I think you and I are split. I have the Commanders, you have the Bucks. Before we go, though, obviously, because I teased this before, Empty the Bench, which was a show I did with Tom Albano. He's no longer here. You saw the video. Well, Anthony is stepping in permanently and doing the show with me starting this week, actually. January 15th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We come back. We start the new year with the NFL playoffs and a bunch of other stuff going on in the world of sports. So I'm looking forward to the new version of the show coming.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait. I can't wait for our first episode together. We're going to be talking about NFL, college football, and basketball, and much more. So definitely stay tuned.
And also one last thing, because we were talking about college football as well, and I was talking about playback. We are going to be doing, and I have to thank Playback for this because I didn't know they were going to have it, but college football is on Playback as the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There's never been a path like this to the national championship. As the final teams take the field, everyone knows this one is bigger. Our coverage begins at 7:15 p.m. Eastern with our national championship pre-show, with the game starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB network to find out more, including our live stream schedules. So we will be doing the national championship. So it'll be fun to watch the game for you, for sure, doing Forever Power 5 with the rest of the guys. Anything quickly you want to say about that?
Oh, that's going to be a tremendous game. The way Marcus Freeman has that Notre Dame defense going and the way Ryan Day has that Ohio State offense going, I mean, that's going to be a tremendous game. And that's probably the best two teams we could get in the national championship this year. And I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I might actually come and hang out for that one to watch some of the game. By the way, the one thing that really stood out to me did you see what happened when he got interviewed after the game?
Who?
Freeman.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, about him becoming the first African-American coach.
Did you see they kind of tried to twist that a little bit? And he
didn't fall for it, though.
I just thought that was a very odd timing for that whole thing to let him have the moment. Won the game. Give me a break. I mean,
Yeah, I like what he said though. He said he's just happy for anybody of any color or ethnicity to be able to go to the national championship, and I absolutely agree.
it shouldn't matter. You win the game, you win the game. You worked hard to get to the game. It shouldn't matter what religion, ethnicity, color, what you are. It shouldn't matter. But that's going to be fun, and our show is going to be fun. You'll want to see that every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, we're also working on some other short video stuff behind the scenes, which we'll be doing as well. So looking forward to it. Go enjoy the game, which is going to be starting very soon. This game is actually supposed to start at 8. It hasn't started yet.
Kickoff's probably closer to 8:20.
So I was confused by all the scheduling because the way they listed all the games this time, like it said 8 p.m. Usually it would say 8:15, 8:20, but I don't know. So Anthony and I are going to go watch the games, and then we'll see you this week for the new show. So enjoy the football game, and we will be back for football forecast actually on Friday, noon Eastern. That'll premiere. Football forecast will be Saturday, right? Or no? Forever Power 5. Excuse me. Forever Power 5 will be Saturday premiere.
Saturday or Sunday, probably maybe Sunday, the day before the national championship.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it's on Monday, right?
Yes.
So, all right, so you'll get all that schedule and go enjoy the game, and we'll see everybody later. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you this week.
See ya.